hard, work hard, play hard. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.
Work. Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast, the official podcast of filmpulse.net. This is episode number 121. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today we have Kevin Rakestraw. How you doing, sir?
I'm decent.
Doing decent.
Decent.
Watching some World Cup action.
I'm all about World Cup. I'm actually surprised that I got as many movies in as I did. I don't know how I did this, but I did it.
Yeah, same here. There were some that I did not see because of the World Cup, but either way, I tried to fit in as much as I could. Today we'll be banging out two feature reviews. First will be Kat Candler's Hellion, and we'll be following that up with Phil Lord and Chris Miller's 22 Jump Street. And finally, we'll be going over this week's movie predictions, new on video on demand and DVD and Blu-ray releases. We'd be remiss in saying that we have been nominated for several awards this week.
The Pod Bodies. One more so than the other.
Yeah.
And I don't want things to get weird.
Oh no, it's already weird.
Because
we're already at the weird stage. We're already at the stage of resentment.
I'm
anger and jealousy. It's already there.
Okay. I don't want things to get weird and affect our relationship and our podcast that I'm appropriately praised.
I think that it's interesting.
You're appropriately not praised.
I think that it's interesting that we're discussing 22 Jump Street because there's a lot of parallels there with what's happening here.
There's a chasm in our bromance right now that needs to be discussed, but I don't think it will. I think it's just going to get weird. We're going to break up. We're going to do our own separate podcast for 15, 16 years, and then we're going to have this will they, won't they, and then we'll reunite, and we'll talk about the fourth reiteration of Spider-Man as our feature review, and everyone's going to praise it. Just standard ovations.
I see all of these things happening.
Yeah.
This is all going to happen.
Drug abuse.
So we got nominated for some pod bodies here. Best podcast hosts group. We got nominated for our Ryan Watches a Movie podcast. We also got nominated for best podcasting duo, you and I.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty exciting. And then Podcasting Superstar, you got nominated.
Correct.
And Ryan got nominated.
Correct.
And I didn't.
So we know who's the strong link in the first two nominations, the duo and the group. And we know who is the weak link.
Yeah, me. Oh, God. Clearly, I am the weak link.
Oh, good Lord.
And we also got snubbed for Best Podcast.
Which you would think with two podcasting superstars in your, on your roster that you would get in there. But apparently not.
No.
Apparently not.
That's just how it is. Sometimes, there's always next year.
There's always next year. I would also like to point out that anytime that you refer to me or introduce me, I would like the title Pot Body nominee. Multiple Pot Body
nominee.
Yeah.
We need to create a little graphic that has the laurels,
yes. Mm-hmm.
And put in multiple Pod Body nominee.
I already did it. I have business cards made up and everything.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
Just for me. Just for you. Just for me because it says podcasting superstar and I couldn't put that on yours.
I think that I need to address you as podcasting superstar Kevin Rakestraw from now on.
It fits and it feels right, so I think you should.
Okay. All right. Well, at any rate, let's get on with the show here. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching before getting into our first review.
All right.
Did we start with you last week?
I think so.
I think we did. I saw Witching and Bitching. This came out this Friday. It's on video on demand right now.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this movie. So it's a Spanish horror comedy about two guys who rob one of those cash for gold places.
Nice.
And they flee the police. And first of all, I should mention that they set up this elaborate robbery where one of them is dressed up as Jesus, and the other one is dressed up like a green army man, and a third one is dressed up like SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'm sold.
And
I'm sold.
they rob this cash for gold place, they flee from the police, and they happen upon a coven of witches who try to kill them.
It's happened all too often.
It happens a lot these days,
It does.
but I will say that it is a very enjoyable movie, very frantic, chaotic movie. There's a lot going on. The dialogue's very fast and snappy. It's quite funny too. Like it actually works really well as a horror comedy. I found myself laughing quite a bit. There's some like lowbrow stuff that happens, especially towards the end. There's something really crazy that happens. It's kind of gross. But in my review, I do have a review for this up on the site. I mentioned that it is kind of like, it kind of harkens back to the old days of Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi. It's definitely got an Evil Dead 2 vibe to it.
That sounds good. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's basically all about, these two guys. So the one guy, played by Hugo Silva, he's divorced. It's his turn to take care of his son for the weekend. So his son goes along on this robbery with him. So the young kid is there the whole time as well, and he's trying to protect him. And he's actually, other than the robbery part, he's actually a good dad. He really cares for his son, and it's just about how he's trying to deal with this divorce and deal with his ex-wife constantly yelling at him and nagging him and all this stuff, and trying to prevent him from seeing his son. And then the other guy, it's about like his girlfriend is like too perfect. Like she's too good, and he's constantly trying to be as good as his girlfriend. So the whole movie is about the relationship between men and women, and how like the women in these guys' lives are just too overbearing and bringing them down. And then of course they happen upon this coven of witches who bring them down even more. But it's all done in a very fun, tongue-in-cheek way. It doesn't feel like misogynistic or anything like that. It's just but there is a lot of gross out stuff too. And there's a lot of really cool effects work in it as well. So, like, there's some CG towards the end that doesn't really work, but for the most part, it's pretty cool. Like, there's a chase sequence where they're, like, running through this mansion, and the witches are, like, flipping up on the walls and crawling on the ceiling and walls to catch them and stuff. And there's a lot of really weird stuff that happens, but it's just packed to the gills with fun stuff. It's just crazy.
Craziness.
It's crazy, and it's just highly recommend it. Very fun. I mean, it's still kind of a goofball comedy.
Yeah.
So don't expect any like thing serious with it, but well shot too. It looks really good.
Is it better than Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, I'd say it's better than Hocus Pocus.
Good. That's good. That's all I could think of when you were talking about it. My apologies to the people that made Witching and Bitching.
And the end is just utterly ridiculous. I'm not going to say what happens, but it is ridiculous.
I have two films that are complete opposite of Witching and Bitching, and these are both from 1946. Now, one is called The Best Years of Our Lives, directed by William Wyler. The other one is A Matter of Life and Death, directed by Powell and Pressburger. So I came across both of these films, one because I'm digging into Powell and Pressburger movies, and the second one came by way of my wife through a Paul Auster book. Both 1946, both deal with the war. The Best Years of Our Lives is one of perhaps the first American films. It's actually made like 1 year after World War II, where they deal with servicemen coming home and trying to reintegrate themselves into society, even though society is, kind of moved on without them. It sort of looks into like the time warp that war is. So it's three servicemen that come back. They each have their own troubles, drinking problems, a guy trying to find work. He's married to a woman that thought she married a rich guy and thought that her life was completely figured out, only to find out that the only job experience this guy has is as a soda jerk. And the third guy, who is played by Harold Russell, is a real life serviceman that lost both of his hands in the war. Well, I guess when he was working with some explosives, they accidentally went off and he lost both of his hands. And he has hooks for hands that they do not shy away from showcasing throughout the movie. It kind of feels like they do, like every time that he has to do something, it's like, oh my God, see this guy use his hook hands. But it does work, which is good. There are little bits of melodrama, which you know I do not like, but it's not used excessively like I thought it was going to be. And it's more than made up for by the other aspects of the films, which is extremely genuine in its depiction of these guys coming home and trying to get themselves back into the swing of things, so to say. And they actually deal with a couple of, like, for 1946, some shocking topics. Like, at one point, there's a young girl that just defiantly says that she's going to break up a marriage, that is her new, like, that's her goal in life, is to break up a marriage. And she's just, like, yells it out to her parents. And her parents are just like, okay, whatever. Not the best idea, but we support you. And she's talking to her parents and saying, like, oh, they have such a, beautiful marriage and they wouldn't understand because they have everything so perfectly. And then it's followed up with her mother and father essentially admitting that at numerous points in their marriage, they've mutually hated the shit out of each other. Which is, again, for 1946, it's a bit shocking to see that. And then there's talk of divorce and people cheating on each other and all sorts of things. But the main thing about this movie, which won 7 Oscars, by the way, actually 9, there was like a memorial award, and this is the first instance and only instance where a actor won 2 Oscars for one role, and that's the non-actor Howard Russell, who they thought he was like a complete long shot to win his real Oscar, so they gave him sort of like a special award for like providing hope for veterans and stuff. But he ends up winning the actual Oscar. So he's the only guy that won 2 for one role. And his performance in this it's perfect. The way that he just brings so much honesty to the proceedings that it's unbelievable. And just to see him trying to cope with, losing his arms and stuff, and he's a young guy and goes back to see his fiance and she still loves him and he has trouble with it and everything. I'm surprised that it's not more famous and popular than it is. It's actually a really, really good film. Completely surprised me. And then
I might have to check this one out.
yeah. And I mean, it's like close to 3 hours long. But honestly, looking back, I can't think of anything that you would cut out. Everything works perfectly. And there's actually a lot of good camera work in it too for 1946. And then the other one, Matter of Life and Death, is sort of this play on there's a British officer, his plane's shot down, and he has no parachute, so he's going to commit suicide, and he's on the phone with an American woman. They sort of fall in love as he's just like, he's the most calm, cool, collected, I'm going to die guy that I've ever seen on film. He's just wooing the socks off of this girl, and he knows that in like 2 seconds he's jumping out of a plane to his death. But he's just laid back, just flirting the shit out of this girl, and she completely falls in love with him. He jumps out of the plane. They miss him. The angels miss him in the fog so they don't catch him to bring him to the afterlife, to heaven. So through this like heavenly mishap, he ends up living. And then he meets up with the girl and they fall in love. But meanwhile, up in heaven, they got to, correct this wrong. They got to bring him back because they haven't had a screw up in I don't know how many years. I forget what it is. So there's this whole thing of the afterlife and real life and trying to bring him back, and he has to state his case. He goes to heaven court to plead his case that he gets a second chance to stay on Earth. And it's so much fun. I was completely surprised by this one as well. I'm surprised that this one's not more popular than it is. Especially being a Powell and Pressburger film, because those guys are pretty big.
Yeah, I never even heard of it.
Yeah, completely under the radar for me. I mean, I know about all the other Powell and Pressburger films, but not this one. But I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, I might have to check that one out
And
too.
again, this one has a lot of experimental film work in it. A lot of trick shots, like freeze framing, the action. Um, there's this whole the way that they show the afterlife, like these immense sets that they show. They built this giant escalator, which is used as like the stairway to heaven that they ride on. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hmm.
Both of them, 10 out of 10s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I saw one that was very nearly a 10 out of 10 for me, and that's The Great Beauty. Finally watched
I
this.
saw this. I was waiting to talk about this one.
Yeah, like I finally just was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get this done. Here we go. And this was kind of like a roller coaster ride for me as far as how I felt about it.
Okay.
Because at first, when the film began, I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! This looks incredible!" Like that opening party scene, and
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" But then it kind of dipped a little bit, and I started getting bored with the story, and I was like, "All right, I'm feeling a little bit of a lull here." But then at one point it just went back up, and I was like completely enthralled by it, and I can't pinpoint the exact moment when I was glued to the screen, but I believe that it was during the montage that ends with him looking at the capsized ship. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't know if I do remember that.
It was just like a musical montage. It was just music,
Okay.
and it's just like him, being downtrodden. And at the end, he like goes out on his like porch, and there's like a giant ship that's like capsized.
Hmm.
You don't remember
I
this?
don't remember this. God damn it.
It was great. I mean, it looked like a music video, and I loved it. It was done in slow motion. Maybe that helps.
That doesn't. Nothing
Yep.
helps. I have a terrible memory.
Well, it's fine. I do too. I had to write that down, or else I probably wouldn't have remembered it.
Did you type it into your phone?
No. No, I didn't.
That will make sense later.
There were certain things that I thought I feel like this movie could have been trimmed up a little bit, and if it was trimmed up a little bit, it would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. There were certain threads that that I felt weren't necessary to the film to get this message across of this guy. And at first it was funny because I was like, why is this guy so pissy all the time? I was like, he's got a great life.
Yeah.
If I was that wealthy and living there, I would do the same thing as him. But then like as it went on, I was like, okay, all right, I kind of get it now.
Yeah, it's you sort of understand. The more
Yeah,
so it
you
goes
start
on.
to
But
you
yeah,
start to kind of empathize with him.
I would definitely agree that it could have been trimmed up a little bit.
Like the little side plot with his one buddy and his buddy's girlfriend, like the younger woman. I didn't feel like that was really necessary because that guy wasn't in it that much to begin with. So
Yeah.
like I didn't really care about his story.
Yeah.
But either way, I love the music in this movie. The visuals are breathtaking. I mean, it is one of the most visually pleasing movies I've seen in a long time.
Oh, definitely.
And just the composition, the way that they put everything together, everything goes together in this movie, and I just fucking loved it. I had so much fun during the party scenes. Like, I thought that they were really well shot. And there were just certain like small scenes too. Like there's a scene where it's like I think it's a tracking shot that goes through this dark room where there's just all these chairs stacked up on one another, and the way that the lighting was done,
Oh yeah.
it was like one of these slow kind of dolly shots
Yeah.
going through this room where all these chairs are stacked up. It just looked so good. I loved it.
Yeah. The lighting in this is just unbelievable.
And I like the whole scene towards the end with the saint too. I thought she was really funny. It was really bizarre. And I was like, it was just it didn't feel like it fit at first because it was kind of like it was like a goofy, just a weird thing. And I think that was a young person and old person makeup.
But it makes much more sense if you think about it.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense after they show where that's going.
Yeah, because they put so much thought and time and effort into, what's a meaningful life and this and that. And for her, it's extremely simple. And she just flat out tells you what it is and she lives it. It's as simple as that.
Right.
It's not this huge, giant puzzle that you got to figure out. Very simple.
Either way, I highly recommend this if you haven't seen it yet. The Great Beauty. I think it did win the Academy Award for Foreign Language.
I saw a fun film called Chef.
I almost
did you
watched.
Get to see,
I
did you get to
almost
see
went to
Chef
see
yet?
it. No, I didn't. I almost went to see it last weekend. My girlfriend went to see it, and then I was just like, nah, I don't feel like it.
Oh, you should.
I know.
It's fun.
I heard nothing but great things.
It's fun. I mean, it's not an amazing movie by any stretch. It's a fun, good time. It's just Favreau having fun. And
Well, I think it's all like kind of allegorical of his life as a filmmaker, right?
oh yeah, it can definitely mirror his directorial career because the last couple years, he's been sort of making these blockbuster films where I can imagine that he doesn't have the artistic creative control that he would like, which is sort of mirrored through he works at this restaurant. He's, top chef, all this promise, and he's sort of stuck at this stagnant restaurant where he's not allowed to really create his own menu. He's just sort of making the same things for people just for like mass consumption and profit, profit, profit. And Dustin Hoffman just won't let him switch up anything. He wants to try new things. There's a food critic coming in, and he has this whole menu made up for this guy. And at the last second, Dustin Hoffman's like, no, you can't do it. I own the restaurant. You make what you've been making in the last 10 years. People like it. Don't be creative. This isn't the time. So he ends up getting hammered by this food critic, just completely destroyed. He finds out what Twitter is from his son, signs up for Twitter, thinks that he's, sending a private tweet, but it's not. It goes out to everyone. This whole thing starts, and then he ends up blowing up, and he just loses his shit on the critic, loses his job at the restaurant, and then just goes back to the basics and opens up a food truck with his best bud, John Leguizamo, and his son, and boom, he's happy because he's just doing what he likes. Goes back to the basics, which is what Chef is. It's just his old school movie because it plays a lot like Made.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have went to see it last weekend now.
Yeah, you should have. Definitely should have.
Oh well.
It's a lot of fun. The only criticism I have is there's this like superimposed effects of Twitter. Like anytime he would type something out on Twitter, it would like pop up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he would send it, the little bird would fly away. And that would happen all too often. And it was just, it kind of seemed unnecessary and excessive to have all this Twitter shit everywhere. But whatever. It was fun.
Yeah, I do want to see it. I saw a documentary that premiered at, actually, I think it premiered at Hot Docs, if I'm not mistaken, but it just screened at the LA Film Festival, which is happening right now. We'll have more coverage on that festival probably all this week and maybe some next week too. I don't know. But the one I saw was called I Am Big Bird, the Carol Spinney story. And it's a documentary about Carol Spinney, the creator of the guy who plays Big Bird. And he also does Oscar the Grouch, also on Sesame Street. And he's been playing these characters since 1969, 40 plus years. And it, a lot of people are going to compare this documentary to the Elmo one, the Being Elmo. But it's unfortunate that this came out after, because this is a better documentary. It gets heavy-handed at certain points. I mean, it's definitely a film designed to kind of tug at your heartstrings, and it succeeds. I mean, it will probably get you choked up during certain parts. Yeah. But overall, it's just a really interesting story. I mean, one of the most interesting things about it to me was to learn how he operates Big Bird, and it's fucking crazy how he does it. So, like, inside the suit, he has his one arm is up inside Big Bird's head, and he uses his hand to control the mouth, obviously, but he has a little string tied to his pinky finger that he moves up and down to control the eyes, to make the eyes blink. And then he can't see out of the suit, so he wears this like strap on his stomach that has a monitor on it, and he looks down the whole time at the monitor. So basically, he sees what the cameras see as they're filming, and that's how he like is able to see through the suit, which is like crazy to think about. That's like I don't even know if I'd be able to walk around in that thing.
Yeah, that seems like a lot to do. Because then you didn't even mention that he controls the arms.
And yeah, and that's the other thing. So one of the arms, his other arm controls one of Big Bird's arms, and there's a little invisible like piece of fishing line that's connected to the other arm, so it kind of equalizes it. So if he moves one arm down, the other arm goes up. So he has to control that too, and then he has to read lines. So what he does is he actually tapes the lines that he's reading on the inside of the suit as well, and there's like the glow of the monitor he uses to read the lines. So he's looking through the monitor, controlling the eyes, controlling the mouth, controlling the arm, walking around, and reading the lines. I mean, it's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of skill involved. And when you see some of the stuff that he's done over the years, I mean, like, sometimes he's on roller skates, roller skating around. He's got to do some crazy stuff in that suit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's very, very interesting story. It gets into his personal life quite a bit. It gets into his professional life, obviously, and his relationship with Jim Henson, and the fact that he has to kind of be a loner because he's one of the few characters that just does all the puppet work by himself. Yeah. Like most of them are, you know, you've seen it before where they're all kind of grouped together, and like one person will be moving one arm, the other person will be moving the other arm, and all that stuff. And with his characters, and Oscar's the same way, it's just like a one-man show. Yeah. And it kind of gets into how he felt like sort of like an outsider with the Hensons, like the whole crew, and, you know, how he... And then, like, when Big Bird became huge and, like, everybody, Big Bird was everywhere, and how he took that fame and stuff. And it's just a really interesting story. Also, something I didn't know about, somebody got murdered on his property.
Yeah.
This just happened, like, a few years ago.
All right.
So, he and his wife hired a stonemason to do some landscaping work. And the stonemason they hired murdered a woman on their property.
Oh, okay.
And it turned into this like big thing where, you know, the news outlets were saying that somebody was killed on Big Bird's property and stuff like that. And
wow. And
when they talk about that, it's obviously a very emotional moment in the film. And there's a lot of emotional moments in the film, but... You know, this guy's 78 years old, and he's still doing Sesame Street every week.
This guy's ridiculous.
But the other thing that they get into in the film is that he does have an apprentice. So when he does get too old to do it anymore, there will be someone that can take over, that he's training and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, really highly recommend this one.
I'm very interested in this one.
Yeah, it's really... Because obviously I grew up with Sesame Street as a kid.
Yeah. But just those puppets, for whatever reason, just intrigue me to no end.
I know, yeah, same here.
I don't know why. I don't know why. They're the most interesting things ever.
This one is, to me at least, was far more interesting than being Elmo.
Yeah, because I hate Elmo.
Yeah, see, Elmo was kind of... that was after our time.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't grow up with Elmo.
No. And plus it's not his fault that, you know, Elmo got so damn popular.
That's true.
Which great job on his part, but you know, there are repercussions to that.
Well, the other interesting thing is they
shit out of Elmo.
Yeah, they do talk about Elmo in this movie, and when Elmo's popularity started surpassing that of Big Bird's, and they were kind of describing it like during this time, Sesame Street started kind of shifting gears in its tone, and it began trying to appeal more towards like 2 and 3 year olds rather than 6 and 7 year olds. And they compared the character of Big Bird with Elmo and how Elmo appeals to like infants, whereas Big Bird just appeals to kids.
Yeah.
And I think that there's, that's part of it too.
Definitely.
And just Elmo's fucking annoying. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Yeah. Give me a fucking break, Elmo.
So I do recommend checking it out. Don't know when this is getting released yet, but I'm sure that it will get released. There's some really good animation in it. Like they do like the 60s style kind of watercolor animation that you would see in like Schoolhouse Rocks, like that style.
Nice.
So there's some really cool animation in it, and it's just really well made.
Fantastic. I look forward to that one.
Yeah, we'll have a review for that up at some point soon.
I guess the natural progression to go from Sesame Street is to John Carpenter's They Live
Yes.
from 1988. I know that I'm sure that you were extremely excited that I watched this one. This one was for you, Adam.
Yeah.
This is all for you.
Now you have to watch The Thing.
I know. I got it. I'm ready to go. So probably next week we'll be talking about The Thing. This one, we talked about it before in the last podcast that, I would probably know most of the things that happen in this film. It would be familiar. And my God, was it? Because I didn't realize that I'd say like 60% of the film's dialogue has been sampled in hip hop, like everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard like almost all the dialogue from this movie. And it was just constantly me, like as soon as it would happen, I would be like, oh, that's from that song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's what that's from. So it was just constantly that, the Obey artwork, the back alley brawl, which I knew about. There's so much that I knew. But the interesting thing is I don't know what context they're in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the back alley brawl is all about. I do know that it's like 5 minutes long and it's just ridiculous in length. But I don't know what the fight's about. I just figured that it was, Roddy Piper and the villain fighting.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's two guys that are sort of friends. And number one, I didn't even know Roddy Piper's fucking homeless in this. I read it as down on his luck, like construction worker. I didn't know they meant straight up homeless person,
vagrant.
nomad. Yeah. Living in a shanty town. So they're pseudo friends, or whatever title they want to tack on that. And it's all because he won't try on sunglasses.
Yep.
I
He did not want to put on those shades, man.
and
He didn't want to do it.
And I'm just thinking, it's not going to hurt you. You just pop them on real quick. You either see what Piper sees, or you don't see anything, and you're like, okay, I was right. This guy's crazy. I need to get the fuck out of here. Like it's not going to take up that much time in your day. It's like 2 seconds, and it's just funny how it ends up boiling down to Piper just screaming, "Put them on!" and continuously picking them up. And you just lose it after a while. It's unbelievable. It's so hilarious. But unfortunately for me, everything went downhill after that sequence. Everything up until that point was it was amazing. The camera work surprised the hell out of me. I didn't know that it was so competently made with all the dolly work and the panning and scanning. It's unbelievable. I was like completely hooked. And then after the fight scene, it just sort of like that 5 minute fight scene just exhausted the entire film after that point.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I still love the movie, but I do agree with you there.
It was like, because the fight was like building me up. Like, this is getting amazing. I can't wait for more. And then it just dropped off like crazy after that. And it was really disappointing. But up until that point, it's fantastic. the bubblegum line, which I don't understand why that's so famous because it's really fucking stupid.
It is stupid. It doesn't even really make sense.
No, it's fucking retarded. Like it would make sense if I saw him at any point in the film chewing bubblegum.
Well, also in the movie, it's just a little throwaway line. Like it's
Yeah.
not even, it's not like they make a big deal out of that line.
I know, and that's what I was like, oh, what context does he say this line in?
It
And
has to be that just
it's
Duke
hilarious.
Nukem. It has to be that Duke Nukem picked it up for some reason and just
It's just
that's when it
hilarious that
took off.
it's him dipping into a bank and everyone's just like, what the fuck? He has guns. And he just says that line for some reason and then just starts blasting people in the face. But my favorite part is when he first puts on the glasses and starts seeing everything. And the way that they did that was fantastic with the black and white.
Love it.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And I just love when he goes into whatever store that is and just how he reacts to everything. And the formaldehyde face when oh my God. And then he like Dick Van Dyke's all over the place, just fucking tripping over everything. It's I just love it. That's exactly how someone should respond
Yeah.
to finding all of those things out. He loses it.
This is why movies like They Live is why I love John Carpenter, because I feel like his movies are all different. Like there's just nothing like They Live. Just like there's nothing
No.
like Big Trouble in Little China. Like I feel like his movies were they all had such a unique voice to them. I love John Carpenter, man. Just fucking love him.
And this is one of those movies sort of akin to Videodrome, where it sort of makes more sense nowadays, or it's more relevant now
Oh yeah.
than it was back then. But
Yeah.
man, I had so much fun with They Live. Unfortunately, though, like I said, after the fight, which is amazing, but after that, it's just sort of, them walking down corridors, shooting people just over and over again.
I don't really have anything else I wanted to mention. I did see a movie called The Art of the Steal on Netflix,
Which I
with
heard you loved.
Kurt Russell.
Oh,
Little Carpenter tie in there.
nice.
But
It's
yeah,
great.
it's
It-
basically an
Yeah.
Ocean's 11 ripoff. It has this terrible like voiceover work, this narration throughout the whole movie that is just awful.
Mm.
Kurt Russell is not very good in it. Matt Dillon is terrible in it. Jay Baruchel is more
Wait.
annoying than usual in it.
So Matt Damon's actually in this?
No, Matt Dillon.
Oh, I thought you said Matt Damon.
Yeah, no.
So they
not
even tried
Matt
to. So they actually tried to get someone that name sort of sounds familiar
Yeah,
to the Ocean's Eleven's movie.
yeah. It's so basically it's just about a group of people that set up this heist, this art heist, and it's bad. Like a lot of the stuff that happens is pretty illogical, and it's very, very much just an Ocean's clone, and a poorly made one at that. So do not recommend it. This was one of these that it took me like three days to see the whole thing, because I'd put it on at night when I was in bed falling asleep, and then I'd fall asleep, and then the next night I'd put it on again.
Yeah, this sounds like one of those where you force yourself to finish it.
It was a boredom watch, or it was a falling asleep watch for me.
Those are the best.
Yeah. And it's very rare. It's also very rare that I watch part of a movie and don't finish it. So I just kind of felt obligated to just put it on.
Gotcha. It sounds awful.
Yeah, it is.
Good. That's all I have. I'm done. I'm
All right.
ready to jump into. There is one thing that I do want to point out, which is the website nobudge.com. Have you heard of this website?
Yes.
Okay, so for a limited time, they do have Alex Ross Perry's debut film in Polex, which is playing up until Tuesday, which this one's kind of hard to find. And I've been waiting, and hopefully I have the time to fit this in somehow, since I love the color wheel so much. So just throwing that out there. It's only up until the 17th.
Hmm.
And you can stream it for free.
There you go. Alex Ross
Budge.com.
Perry.
Yeah, do it.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our first review of the day, Hellion. So this is written and directed by Kat Candler. I have a synopsis here. When motocross and heavy metal obsessed 13-year-old Jacob's increasing delinquent behavior forces CPS to place his little brother Wes with his aunt Jacob and his emotionally absent father Hollis, must finally take responsibility for their actions for each other in order to bring Wes home. Now, a couple of things I want to mention before we get into this. First, I predicted last week that you were not going to like this movie. Looks like I was correct in that. Second, I saw this movie at Sundance, and I was going to try to watch it again just to refresh myself. And historically, when I see movies at festivals, I generally like them more because of the environment and all of that. And I've noticed that usually when I see movies at festivals, I rate them at least 1 point higher than what I would normally.
Okay.
However, I didn't have time to rewatch this because of the World Cup, so I'm going off of my initial viewing at Sundance on this.
Okay.
Just just throwing that out there, a little disclaimer, if you will. So
right.
I have a review for this up on the site. We'll start with you, Kevin. What did you think of... Oh, I'm sorry. I should mention who is in this damn movie. It stars Aaron Paul, Juliette Lewis, and Josh Wiggins. And the youngest boy, Wes, is played by Deke Garner. So, Kevin, what'd you think?
Honestly, I wish that I had something to say, and I really have nothing. This is so generic, so just boring, just more of the same. I'm just getting tired of these. I'm getting tired of these films.
It's funny because I have the IMDb page pulled up here, and in the background is a big ad for Joe, which comes out on DVD and Blu-ray this week. And it's like the same. It looks the same. It looks the exact same.
It's just, I mean, it's formulaic. It's one of those coming of age dramas. Kid's a little bit of a delinquent. In this case, he's an arsonist. And he's obsessed with motocross whenever it seems fit to throw that in there. You got your shaky handheld camera work, which occasionally will throw some lens flare in there. Got the tight shots of the characters dealing with suppressed feelings, not talking about them, but just, turning their beer glass or whatever it is. And then they have that music to let you know that these things are important. And I don't care. I did not want to watch this. This podcast was the only reason I finished this movie.
Well, I actually liked this quite a bit, again, on my initial viewing at Sundance. And the thing about these kinds of movies is they always strike a chord with me. Like, I think that I don't know. Like, I just have a soft spot for these types of movies. I liked Joe a lot, and I know you weren't thrilled with that one either.
Joe was much better than this. Joe actually had some personality.
I saw this one actually before I saw Joe, and I think I ended up in my reviews. I think I scored them the same. I think I gave both of them like an 8 out of 10 or something. But I like this. I thought Aaron Paul did a really good job in this. I like Aaron Paul, so it was nice to see him in other things other than Breaking Bad and Need for Speed. And I like the two kids. I thought that they did a solid job.
I just think it didn't nothing struck me, nothing moved me at all. Like there's normally, if there's nothing story-wise, I at least have some other avenue, like performances to talk about. And the performances here, they're decent, but there's nothing that makes me, jump out of my seat and applaud and have all this gushing praise for. They're just sort of serviceable. And then the only other avenue that I have really is the technical aspects, which to me are just as generic as the story is. These movies are really difficult for me because they move me in no way whatsoever. There's not anything that I really hate about the movie that I can latch on and just rip apart, but there's nothing that I can praise either. I'm just in the middle, indifferent as can be. I'm not going to remember anything about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is completely forgettable.
It's I think it's unfortunate that this one came out when it did. I think that if it came out before the large number of movies like this,
Yeah.
I think that maybe it would have made a bigger impact.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, that's playing a big part of this. I'm just getting sick and tired of these coming of age dramas. They all play out the same, and this one's no different.
Well, I liked this one quite a bit. I do like these types of movies, like I said before, but I also like these kind of family dramas as well. So it did kind of play into my hand the whole time. I like the music as well, and I like the setting. I like movies that take place in that setting. So I was into that. I was a little underwhelmed with the end. Not like the kind of climax, but like the very end.
Mm-hmm.
It felt a little too Hollywood to me.
Yes. Yeah.
So I wasn't really into that. But overall, I did like it. Now, I will say this. As much as I like these kinds of movies, like Mud and Joe and Hellion, I'm done with it. Like, this is it. Hellion is the end of it for me.
You had room for one more.
I had room for one more, and that was it.
Now it's like, nope, I'm done. Please, no more of this.
I mean, technically, Joe was the last one of these that I saw, so technically,
Okay.
that's it for me. But
Joe was the end.
yeah,
Cage killed it for you.
and I like that movie too. I like Mud. I like this. I like Joe. I like all of them quite a bit. But you are right. It's enough. All right.
I mean, honestly, are you gonna remember? I'm gonna wait and do like a little experiment, and I'm gonna like quiz you in like 6 months' time on Hellion to see if you remember
Well,
anything from it.
I saw it in January, so I'm pretty far removed.
Oh yeah,
I'm 6 months removed from it. And I still remember, I don't remember specifics, but I remember the broad strokes.
the movie's nothing but broad strokes. There's no fucking development at all. And I feel like an asshole because I was really looking forward to this because I enjoyed Candler's other work. And I'm still holding out for the full length Black Metal because that is a more interesting story to me.
Right.
So I'm still looking forward to this one, but the Hellion was just a letdown. It was
Well,
unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that I didn't see this, that I didn't have this going into Black Metal when that finally comes out.
yeah. Well, I mean, if it says anything, I had the opportunity to rewatch this, and I didn't. So
It was there,
I will say though, I have a really hard time rewatching movies.
especially ones as dull as this one.
But I really liked this. At least I remember really liking this. But apparently I didn't. Apparently I didn't really like it. It was just like some sort of, Sundance facade that I put over myself.
You had that Sundance trance going
I had
on.
Sundance fever. Had that Sundance fever.
That's right, man. Where you just gush about everything because you're just so happy to be there and you're having so much fun.
It's true.
And you don't want to.
I mean, the same thing.
I mean, you don't want to be miserable when you're at Sundance. You want to be like writing up reviews where you're tearing into movies. You want to have a good time.
I think next year's Sundance will be different.
Yeah, you just want to bang out a quick review, say some nice things, and then go get yourself a turkey sandwich and a beer. Right? At least that's what I do. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends. It's. I think that a lot of times it's like I want to like movies. It's like I want to like.
I know, and
movies.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel bad. I feel bad. Like I found myself as I was watching it to like trying to talk myself into like this isn't that bad. It's not that bad. You can like this. You're not going to see bad things. But at the end, no, I couldn't do it.
Well, I'm gonna stand by my initial thoughts and say that I do still like this movie. So take that for what you will. I mean, I still recommend checking it out. I think the performances are good, and I think that it feels very real to me. Like, it feels like a realistic movie with the way that these kids act. Their behavior feels very real to me.
Like I said, that's the main thing that it has going for it. The performances, they're good. They're good performances. They're not, stand out. Oh my God, this is one of the best performances of the year. But they're all solid, and that's it for me at least.
Okay, well, there you have it. I think I gave in my initial review Hellion an 8 out of 10. If I were to redo it, and I may rewatch this and rescore it at some point, but I don't know if I will. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I give it a 4.
A 4. Ouch.
4.
That's below average.
Yeah, because it's so average.
It's so average that it's below average?
Exactly. If that makes sense.
Okay. Well, Hellion is playing in select cities and video on demand right now. Let's talk about some 22 Jump Street. So this is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Stars Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. Ice Cube is also in there, and Jillian Bell. I have a synopsis here. After making their way through high school twice, big changes are in store for Officers Schmidt and Jenko when they go deep undercover at a local college. Now, I didn't read your review because you just posted it up this morning, but I'll start off by saying I loved 22 Jump Street.
Loved it.
I loved it. I thought that it was clever. It was everything that I expected it to be. It was hysterically funny. It was clever. It was more goofy. It was more of a goof spoof than I expected.
It was.
It felt like more of a spoof than the first one, which is not necessarily a bad thing because, I feel like recently we've been talking a lot about goof spoofs.
Oh, we've been goof spoofing like crazy lately.
And just a word of advice to Seth MacFarlane. This is how you make a goof spoof. It felt like understated, but like the ridiculous jokes were there, and the entire movie was making fun of itself.
Constantly.
The movie in and of itself
because
was
they know.
a spoof.
They know that this is ridiculous. And really, the only reason they're making it is because people wanted it so badly.
And that's the joke. The entire movie. The movie itself is a joke. And that's what I love about this movie, is everything was playing into that joke.
They go over so much. And I just love all these sequel tropes that they throw in.
Oh, yeah.
That they subvert with, the red herring tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, the budget constraints that happen towards the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
When, he's faced with the choice of going through the parking lot or going through the sculpture garden. And he picks the sculpture garden. And then he points out that he's like, it seems like they're doing it on purpose, like they're running into the sculptures on purpose. I mean, it looks cool, but it's really wasteful. Just those types of things where they constantly make fun of themselves. And this entire idea, and that's the beauty of it, is they know it's ridiculous. They know that this shouldn't have been a success at all. It looked like failure from phase one. Somehow it blew everyone away. And here we are doing a sequel, and they do the same thing over, and they tell you constantly that they're doing the same exact thing. Don't get your expectations up, but they do throw in these little bits that just work perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it basically goes into what Nick Offerman says at the beginning.
Yeah,
he gives the exact same thing.
And he just talks about how the budget was doubled because they have this idea that more money automatically creates more profit.
Yeah.
And then at one point they talk about it later, they're like, you had the expensive chase at the beginning, you had this ridiculous setup that we have, it's some Iron Man shit going on in their office, where Ice Cube's office looks like a giant ice cube.
And when he says he's wearing like $500 shoes, he's like, you can't even see him.
Yeah, just the ridiculous things that go into making these big budget movies, and they handle it all wonderfully. I had so much fun with it, and that's what I liked about it, is that it was no bullshit. It was refreshing to see him like, we're just dicking around. This is what you guys wanted, so that's what we're doing.
And the thing is, though, it really did have, as much as they were making fun of themselves, it had a really fun story too. I mean, the plot was fun, and it goes to some really fun, really funny places, even though it's essentially the same thing.
It's the same fucking
They just
piece.
do it. They do it in a new and interesting way. Like, first of all, Channing Tatum's character meets somebody who's exactly like him, and he becomes friends with them. Which the initial scene when he first met the guy, when they're at the football thing, and he's doing the Q-tip thing, and Jonah Hill says it's like an odd time to be Q-tipping. It was just so weird, and just that whole interaction when he first met
Yeah,
that guy.
because the other guy, because what's the other guy's name? Zook.
Zook, yeah,
Yeah.
played by Wyatt Russell.
Yeah, he's eating a ham sandwich for some reason. Like, why? One guy's Q-tip and the other guy's eating a ham sandwich, and they're at football practice. What the fuck is going on? And that's how they meet, and they fall in love, and it's best friends forever.
Yeah,
And I do like what they did with the whole bromance and how they did
Oh, yeah.
the bromance
oh
between
yeah.
Hill
I mean,
and Tatum.
that's what this whole movie is about, the relationship between Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, and their rocky romance that they have
Yeah.
going on.
Jonah Hill has self-confidence issues because he can't parkour. Channing Tatum,
And see, that's
finally
the
meets
thing.
his soulmate.
They're That's what makes this a good spoof, because there's so many dumb jokes that they put into this movie that shouldn't work, that should not be funny,
None of this
Yet-
should work.
yet
None
it
of
is funny.
None of this.
Like
Both of these
like
films shouldn't work at
like
all.
the whole thing where he's like, make sure you yell something cool when you throw that, and he throws and he goes, something cool. Like, that shouldn't be funny, but it is. The scene where Jonah Hill shoots the grappling hook and is slowly raising himself up, and they show Channing Tatum like scaling the walls, like, that probably
twice the
shouldn't be
speed.
funny to me.
No, but it is, because they cut it up perfectly. And
I,
just Channing Tatum yelling at him to hurry up.
The fight sequence between Jonah Hill and Jillian Bell was great too. It was just so awkward and weird.
You know what my favorite part about that was? Which I don't know if you noticed. Can you guess what my favorite part was?
The guy in the background,
Yes,
just
what the
sitting
fuck?
there,
That guy made it even better.
Yes.
He's just sitting in the corner.
and he had a straight face the whole time.
He has this look of, what the hell's going on? What am I watching?
Yep.
What's happening?
Yep, I love that part.
I constantly laughed at that guy.
Yep, I will agree with you completely. A lot of people are talking about the Channing Tatum freak out scene towards the end.
Yeah,
Which-
I mean, was that your theater? Is that where everyone lost it? 'Cause
Oh,
that's-
everybody.
Everyone lost it, and yeah, my theater as well.
Everybody lost it during that scene, which it was a funny scene. I will
It
agree.
was.
I
It's-
didn't think
it-
that it was the funniest
No.
moment in the whole movie, but it was great, because just to see Channing Tatum freak out like that was
Just
funny.
to run, and the thing that sort of heightened it was that just that second pause before he realizes it, before he puts it together,
Yeah.
just the look on his face.
And they make the ding sound.
Yeah, and then he loses it, just makes it even better. Now, there was also a couple other things that were unfortunate, which I don't know if your theater had this as well. There was a couple references that just
People didn't
because-
get.
no, because of bad timing. I'm talking about the Tracy Morgan impression.
Oh, and the Maya Angelou.
Yeah, that's just
That was
that's
weird.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the Tracy Morgan impression happened, like
Nervous laughter.
no, my entire theater just went, oh. It was just like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah. Did you catch the Benny Hill reference?
Yes.
Nobody in my theater caught that at all. I was
Really?
the only one.
I thoroughly enjoyed the White House down joke at the very
The
beginning.
White House down joke, the NWA joke.
Ice Cube getting angry about green beans.
That
I
that
could watch that
scene,
forever.
like there were quite a number of scenes that made me laugh, like to the point of the silent laugh. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And one of those scenes that I can remember was that the entire dinner sequence. I'm not gonna don't give away how
No,
that
no.
what the cause of that is because it was a surprise to me when they
But
revealed
again,
that.
yeah, again, that's Lord and Miller doing, it's this whole film is essentially fan service where they're just like, you want Ice Cube getting angry. Here's a scene where we just let Ice Cube go.
And it was
Just just let him go.
that whole dinner sequence, not just the Ice Cube freak out, but before, like right before that, when they're all sitting there and he's just staring at him. I mean, it was just so funny to me. I thought it was great.
I'm just him desperately wanting green beans. For whatever reason, it's just the funniest thing
Oh
I've
god.
ever oh my God. He's just so angry about the rations on those green beans.
Yeah. Yep.
And then just tearing that turkey apart.
Uh,
Oh,
I'll
goodness.
tell you, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I mean, they're unstoppable. They take these. I want them to do that with every movie they make. Just take a property
And
that no one thinks will ever work, and then just make it work.
just do it.
Like I don't even understand how this is happening. And have you seen the trailer for their show that they have that's coming out on Fox with
What's
Will Forte?
no.
It's called The Last Man on Earth,
Okay.
and it's gonna be, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be a 10 episode miniseries where Will Forte is he's the last human being on Earth, and it's
Fantastic.
just about what he does.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
Because
watch the trailer and you'll get excited.
there's another Fox show coming out called the Lucas Brothers Moving Company, which is the two twins
Oh
from
yeah.
across the hall.
No, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. That
Those
that
guys are
scene,
amazing.
that initial scene when they first met those twins, and
Oh
they
my
did
God.
that whole bit where they were repeating, they're both saying the same thing, and then when Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum tried to do it, Jonah Hill ends with quicksand. It was just so.
I just love that Tatum yells paperclip and then words. Words. I know
They were really funny.
they're really funny, and especially at the end, the whole
Hmm.
yeah.
I know
I
what you're
mean,
talking about.
oh my God, I, I can't wait for that show. And the fact that on the show, because in real life, okay, they're the Lucas brothers, they're Kenny and Keith, and I do enjoy that on the show. One of them is called Keith because that's what I call my brother. So I enjoy that. I'm definitely looking for it. It looks like this movie's going to infiltrate Fox coming up
That could be very cool.
with Phil Lord and Miller's show, and then the Lucas brothers show.
I mean, I feel like everything they do is just great. I mean, they directed the pilot for Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well, which I think that show is incredible.
Uh, I still haven't gotten on that show yet.
Oh, dude, it
I al-
is.
I also enjoyed when there's a scene where they trip on the drug finally,
Oh yeah,
which I couldn't wait for. And one
yeah.
has a good trip, one has a bad trip.
I loved that scene. I thought it was,
And just the fact that Jonah Hill's bad trip involves the music of Creed.
mm-hmm. And how he kept trying to get over into the good trip.
And just Creed just kept playing.
Yeah, I thought that scene was great because I was wondering where they were going to go with it, and just the scene when before they were tripping, when they had their focus, their extreme focus, and
Yeah.
Channing Tatum kept drilling the holes.
And then he's finally I ran out of cameras like 5 minutes ago. I was a little disappointed by the trip though. Like I felt that was a missed opportunity, especially the focus part, because it was just essentially them going, "I'm so focused."
Yeah,
And like that's all it was for like a couple minutes, and it's like, oh, it's such a missed
yeah, a
opportunity.
couple missed opportunities there. They could have done more with that, but
But overall, they do enough.
Overall, yeah, still really fun. A lot of action in this. There were several car chases. Felt like more action than in the first one, but that's how you got to do it with a sequel.
Yeah, you got
Got
that
to up
budget.
the ante. More
You got that budget,
explosions,
man.
more shootouts.
Yeah, and I love that the fact that the explosions still happen when they shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
I love that they kept that going.
and I love the whole. Well, I guess it's not a spoiler. The end credits when are going over like
Oh
24
yeah,
Jump Street.
yeah. They get
Like,
they allow them to get all of it out of their system.
yeah,
I think what did they go through, like 30 different jump streets?
at least 30. Some great cameos in this as well. I'm not going to say who or anything because it'd be a nice surprise.
Oh, good times.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
what you need.
I
It's what you need
really
sometimes.
really enjoyed this one. I also like how they kept pointing out the fact that they looked old.
I know.
Everybody, and like as soon as they infiltrated the college, like the very first person that Jonah Hill tries to talk to, he's like, "You're a cop."
It's like you're still wearing your badge, and then Jonah Hill
Yeah.
quickly checks to see if he fucked up and wore his badge. I did, however, I think Jillian Bell's character Mercedes just is a bit too much with the old jokes.
They were. Yeah, I mean, I
It's
can
just
see
like
that.
it was just like her trying every single old joke that she could come up with.
A lot of this film did feel unscripted as well. Like it just felt like there was a lot of ad libbing going on. I think
Yeah.
Jillian Bell's really funny. She's one of the few reasons that I sometimes watch Workaholics.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, she's really funny in Workaholics.
okay. I'll have to check that out. I always hear things about workaholics.
It's hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the dialogue is funny, but some of the stuff is a little too lowbrow, dude bro type of stuff for me.
Dude bros.
Yeah.
Dude bros. We should know.
We should know. Yep.
Should know.
We should know. Just a couple of dude bros shooting the shit about movies.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Final thoughts on 21 Jump Street. You gave it a 7 out of 10, is that correct?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Ooh,
I'm go 8.
trying to one up me.
Yeah. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't remember the last time a movie made me laugh that much. And that's really what does it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over some predictions. Last week, we said How to Train Your Dragon 2, which I do plan on seeing today, so I will be reporting back on that next week. I just haven't had time.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I do really want to see it. You said 90, I said 93, actual 92
God damn it.
on How to Train Your Dragon 2. 22 Jump Street, you said 90, I said 89, actual 83.
Damn it.
Yep, that's 2 for me. Just a little payback for you winning in the World Cup thing.
What are the standings in our movie picks?
Oh, I don't keep track. I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't kept track of that for like a year. Eventually, I was
So,
just like, you know what? Fuck
we
it.
we do it for no.
We'll just do it for fun. Just do it week to week. I don't know. I like predicting them. I think it's fun.
But we're like nominated for awards now and stuff. I think we should take ourselves a bit more seriously.
Don't see that happening.
Good.
Don't see it happening.
Correct.
Next week we have Think Like a Man 2. Now, I don't know how the first one was received. I seem to think that it was like not too bad. I should know that since we're having Ryan watch that this week.
You should know it, but 53.
Okay, so
It's in the middle.
now what are you thinking on the second one?
Second one, I'm thinking like a 48.
48? I'm gonna say 42 on that.
Okay.
And now we have Jersey Boys. Something tells me that this will not be well received.
It better not be.
So I'll say 48 on that one. And I think that is a generous prediction.
I'm gonna say 42.
Ooh, switching it up.
Yeah.
All right. In limited release next week, we have Third Person, which I think that's one of these like ensemble pieces with like Franco's in it, and I think Liam Neeson, and Mila Kunis, maybe?
You said Franco, and I checked out.
Yeah. Apparently it's not very good. It has a very low score right now on Rotten Tomatoes. We also have Venus in Fur, which is the latest Polanski. I kind of wish he would stop doing adaptations of plays.
I'm not really looking forward to his work.
No, like when Carnage came out, I wasn't looking forward to that one either, and I was pleasantly surprised. But the only reason that movie worked is the actors that he got to be in.
Yeah, that was the only reason I watched it, was to see John C. Reilly and Christoph Waltz.
And this one, like, I don't think I'm going to see it. It doesn't appeal to me whatsoever.
I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Like, if a movie's going to take place in one setting, it's got to be something that's really going to hold my attention. Because I start to feel, like, antsy. I feel impatient.
Yeah, like Ice Cube demanding more green beans. See, I could watch that. For 90 minutes.
Ice Cube at a buffet, freaking out.
Because they ran out of green beans. And it becomes this, like, tense thriller where they're waiting on the vegetable delivery. Before Ice Cube loses it and starts beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, I'd see that.
Who wouldn't?
We also have Coherence, which I'm pretty excited to see that one. It's like a low-budget science fiction movie.
I think I actually heard decent things about this one.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see that. We will have a review for that one up. A Summer's Tale, which I don't know anything about. Code Black, which we already have a review for that one up. That's the documentary that takes place in the emergency room.
Okay.
Looks interesting. It has a really cool website. If you check out the website for that, I don't know the actual address, but if you find it,
figure it out on your
it's
own.
probably like codeblack.com or Code Black Movie. We also have Miss Lovely, which we will have a review for that up too. I think I said at one point, I don't know if it was on the air or not, that was a documentary, and I was wrong. It is not a documentary. It is about like underground exploitation movies in India, but it's a narrative. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not a documentary. It looks pretty interesting though. So, and then finally we have The Moment.
Oh,
don't know anything about that. Next week on Video on Demand, only one to mention, and that's Venus in Fur. And DVD and Blu-ray releases next week. We have 13 Sins, which is the English remake of 13 Zemetti, the Thai film. Almost Human, which is a low-budget science fiction horror film that a lot of people are talking about it, but I was not a big fan.
Okay.
The Final Member. That's the one. Almost Human is the one that has like the 20 minutes of ending credits.
Oh, jeez.
The Final Member, which is the documentary about penises.
Penises. Pinar?
Peni.
Pinar.
It's worth checking out. It sounds like it would just be kind of gross, and it has some gross moments, but it's a very touching story. The Grand Budapest Hotel. Kevin, not a fan. I was a pretty big fan.
Nope. I can pass on that one.
Joe, Kevin's not a fan. I was a pretty big fan.
You should watch it just to see Cage. Just to see Cage doing Cage. You know what I mean?
But wouldn't you say that was a better
Italian
performance than what he normally has been doing lately?
Yeah. No, I just had the issues with the tone.
We also have The Machine, which is another science fiction film. I did see this, so it's not great. A Measure of the Sin, which we have a quote on the DVD cover of that, so check that one out.
You're fucking right.
Shot in 16 millimeter. If you watch the trailer for that, you'll swear that it was an old movie, and they did a really good job of making it look old.
Dude, you already got your quote on the DVD cover. Chill out.
Well, here's the thing. Honestly, I didn't think too much of the movie.
Dial it back. I'm just trying to point out things as a podcasting superstar to help you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for.
I appreciate that. Finally, we have Walk of Shame. Don't recommend it.
No, that sounds awful.
I didn't see it, but I heard nothing but bad things. So, All right. Well, I think that'll wrap it up. Any criterions?
We got two Criterions.
Two.
First one is Peter Davis's Hearts and Minds documentary from 1974, which is an unflinching look at the U.S.'s involvement in Vietnam, which I've been wanting to see this for a long time, but I don't know if I can handle it.
There's a documentary about Vietnam that premiered at Sundance. I think it's called like Last Days of Vietnam or something like that uses all archival footage. And I heard that it was pretty good.
This one's considered the most important documentary dealing with Vietnam.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like ever, because there's like a pause there and I was like, wait, the most important documentary ever made?
I should have just left it open. I shouldn't have finished it. Just kept you hanging. And then there's one more, which is Judex from 1963, which I talked about before, because I ended up getting the Masters of Cinema version from the UK, but now it's coming out on Criterion. This one it's an interesting film. It's a bit of a mess. It's like a mixture of 60s modernism with like silent film era techniques, and he sort of melds the two. It does have one of the coolest like character intros that I've ever seen. So it's got that going for it. With this crime fighting magician.
Crime fighting magician?
Yeah, you fucking heard right.
That sounds interesting.
You're damn right it is.
It's like Doctor Strange. Did you hear that Scott Derrickson is going to be directing the Doctor Strange movie for Marvel?
No, I did not hear that.
Do you know who Scott Derrickson is?
I have no idea who that is.
He's the director of I figured. He's the director of Sinister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think it's very interesting.
That's interesting. The whole thing should be shot on old film.
Well, I hope they do make it a horror movie. I mean, that's all the dude does. He did The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and then he did that. He did Sinister, and then now he has one coming out this summer. What's it called? The one with Eric Bana.
Oh yeah, Deliver Us
from Evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did do
That's interesting.
He did do the what you call it? Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, okay.
That I guess that'd be more of a science fiction than a horror, but
yeah.
Well, I think that will wrap it up. Be sure to send your questions to podcast@filmpulse.net. We'll be sure to answer them on the show. Follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And be sure to rate us on iTunes. We appreciate that very much. For FilmPulse.net, my name is Adam.
And I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you on Thursday for Ryan Watches a Movie.
That's all you got. That's all you got. I don't put glue sticks in my nose in them, but my face pasted to linoleum. Kitchen floor shit. Some college dorm shit. Face down in the bloodstained carpet. Get chicks at the farmer's market. White girls buy produce. Take them home. Make them drink Grey Goose.
All right. Oh, cracking them open.
Cracking it open.